Okay, let us now go to the next topic. Our next topic was the stress transformation. Okay, I have just mentioned about that in our last lecture. So let us now go into that particular slide once again. So this is what we were discussing. What will happen if we transform the coordinate system, which is shown here for plane stress condition. But in general, our state of stress is in 3D, right? So that means this is a 3D coordinate axis. We have to understand this transformation in 3D coordinates. So now let us first see some of the facts. The one primary thing is the terminology. What is transformation and what is rotation? Okay. When we say it is transformation of stress, and when we say something is in rotation, so you see what can happen is sometimes our coordinate axis, you see this figure. Here we have a coordinate axis, x, y, z, right? So, as if we have made a rotation of that coordinate axis, like this, x1, x2, x3, and then this is prime, or x1 bar, x2 bar, and x3 bar. This is rotation of the coordinate axis, and another phenomena is this is rotation of the body, as you say, the rotation of the body, right? These things can happen. This rotation of the body, that part, or keeping the body in this position, we can consider rotation of the axis also. So here, what is transformation, what is rotation, that terminology we must understand, right? So, what is the relation here? Which one is fixed and which one is rotating? The two distinguishing things are the body itself and the coordinate frame. So when the body remains fixed and the coordinate frames rotate, that is transformation. Okay, it is the coordinate system that is rotated. The object remains fixed. And rotation is situations in which object rotates while the coordinate system is fixed. So both of these phenomena can occur when we consider the transformation. But this thing, it should be clearly mentioned when we are using a particular transformation. What is happening, that should be very clear, otherwise a confusion will come. That whether it is transformation, it is rotation, which operation will carry out. Because these two operations are very similar operations. Okay, that can happen everywhere, in this 2D also. Okay. What is done here, this object is rotated in 2D, say this thing is rotated, and this we can examine in our previous coordinate frame xy, or as if the whole thing, this is rotated along with the coordinate frame which is now at x prime, y prime, z. So, these things we understand. This is the transformation and rotation, and what is important to note here is that these two transformation matrix, okay, they are basically identical, where one is the transpose of the other. So, what would be the nature of this transformation matrix? Here, what is our transformation matrix? What is our state of stress here? This is a 2 by 2 matrix, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Sigma x, tau xy, and then tau yx, sigma y, 2 by 2 matrix. So what would be the transformation matrix corresponding to that? It would be something cos theta and sin theta term that would come, whatever is here. Really, this is the final expression. But this basically comes from a matrix operation. Okay, through a transformation matrix, this can be expressed. This is the physical description. Ultimately, what happens? These are the equations, final equations for that. But this comes basically from a multiplication of the state of stress matrix and the coordinate transformation matrix in some form. So here you see this transformation again, what is shown here is a transformation of state of stress, right, which is a two-dimensional matrix, which that means which is a tensor of rank 2, right? It's a matrix. But there are some objects, say if this B, this is a vector, where we get vector, velocity, force, etc., they are vector quantities. So they are single rank tensor. So here also we can have a coordinate transformation. As shown here, this vector quantity can be expressed in x1, x2, x3, and if the associated unit vectors are I1, I2, I3, this is the expression of B, Bk, Ik, you understand what does it mean. And in this rotated frame, x1 bar, x2 bar, x3 bar, the corresponding unit vectors are I1, I2, I3 with bars. So this is also the expression. So here also, if one is known, if this is known, we can express this through a rotation matrix, okay, or a transformation matrix, whatever is the thing. And what happens is the transformation matrix, okay, this is the same whether the object is described by a single ranked tensor or it's a double ranked tensor. Okay, so that transformation matrix, it depends on that dimension, whether it is a two-dimensional object or whether it is a three-dimensional object. The transformation matrix that will always be given by this particular equation, which is basically the cosine of the angle between two unit vectors, you can say, of two systems, or the angle between the two directions in two coordinate frames. So that is our transformation matrix. We will come to it. Okay. This is what we will see afterwards. And now what is the coordinate system? See, previously we have shifted this, we have a global coordinate system, then sometimes we fixed it at a particular point in a body, right? That means as if we are shifting our coordinate system. So the coordinate system, it is used to describe the physical object, to localize physical object in space and to define motion in space. This reference frame, origin of the reference frame, is known as the origin reference point of the coordinate system, which we can move also. But what we will come to this particular point. But you see, whenever we attach a coordinate system to a particular vector, to a stress, to some body, whatever, we always keep a global coordinate frame. Okay, that global coordinate frame, this might be at Earth, some space laboratory, some Milky Way. So now what happens when a spaceship, say space laboratory, is moving with Earth? In that case, we have two coordinate frames and the kinematic relation. That means, say we have two coordinate frames, right? So what is the relation between these two? This is origin point of a coordinate frame, this is origin point of another coordinate frame. Here these two are identical. So now what happens if these two are identical or these two are moved apart, but they remain in their position or fixed in time? Then the transformation equations remain same. There is no change in transformation equations. But sometimes what happens, even for constant velocity, if one moves, if this moves with a constant velocity, then also the transformation equations remain same. But there are some situations, okay, when say a second coordinate frame requires a different type of coordinate frame, say in a curvilinear coordinate, the second coordinate is described. Whatever we use, in all the cases, the coordinate frames are rectangular, Cartesian coordinate frames. You know, there are certain phenomena, say in fluid flow problem, in body deformation also, large deformation. The other type of coordinate frame, which are curvilinear coordinate frame, we need to use those. So in those cases, what will happen to these transformation equations? Those are some question mark. There is some question mark to that. That means we are not going to discuss about those things. In our discussion, the coordinate systems are basically fixed to the reference frame, that we can do such transformation in that case. Now what is the relation between these two coordinate frames? They are related by this particular quantity, which is cos of the angle between two directions. Okay. Basically, here if there is two sets of unit vectors, then the angle between those unit vectors are the components of our direction transformation matrix. So Q is transformation matrix, and the elements of that transformation matrix is cos of the angle between two directions.
Yes.
What it is called? This is called direction cosines, is it not?
Yes, sir.
So those direction cosines consist of or constitute the transformation matrix. This we can see here also. Let us see here the same thing. Say such a phenomena is shown here. So we have two coordinate systems. Say this is one, this is another one. Okay. One is 1, 2, 3. The unit vectors are 1, 2, 3 like this. The other one has say a frame alpha, beta, gamma. So now, how many components will come here?
9.
9, quite obviously. This is transformation matrix. These are the elements. So for each direction, say this particular direction 1, U1, it is making angles with this direction alpha, this direction beta, this direction gamma. These angles are the direction cosines. They are again, there are three such, and again for this description of alpha, that particular direction is making some angles with direction E1, then E2 and then E3.
Yes,
We are getting 3, so this is ultimately 3 by 3 matrix. Right. So now what happens? This is the tensor describing the object which we are going to transform. Like here, the object, it can be a vector quantity, it can be a matrix quantity, it can be velocity, force, stress, whatever, in 2 dimension or in 3 dimension. And each of these dimensions, in 2D also we have a transformation matrix, in 3D also we have a transformation matrix. So this part is clear. What are the laws of transformation? Okay. So this is the transformation equations. Okay. There are 2 such notations. Right. So,
This QIP and QJP, those two are the transformation matrix. Transformation matrix.
these are this particular transformation matrix, this Q.
Sir, I
Okay.
said that the QIP, and what is the relation between QIP and QJQ?
No, these are free subscripts. Right. So, what does it mean? It is basically, what is ij? So, if it is x and y, x, y, it will take up those values. So, now you put here, this I is x and this j is y, right? And for sigma prime pq, what is this pq? This can again be, say, x prime y prime, or say y prime z prime, whatever. So you put that here in place of p and q, right? And accordingly you take up this value from here. Is it clear? So if this is the thing, then what we get is the relation between this frame, between these objects and these objects. Say this is our sigma ij, this is our sigma pq. Right? So this is what this means. Actually, this is tensor notation. This tensor notation, as we are not familiar with tensor notation, so but we understand what this operation is, and what we will do as such, we can express this as a matrix. This is a stress matrix, these are coordinate transformation matrix, and we can use this form of equation. We will simply form the transformation matrix for the given coordinate frames, and from there afterwards we will carry out this operation. Okay, so that way those who are familiar with this tensor operations, for them it is easy to understand. But it is known as Einsteinian. transformation. So whatever, actually I never did this vector calculus course.
So we have
the-
read it in
I understand, because nowadays this is there in your higher secondary courses also. Some form of vector operations, then vector calculus or courses also. In your engineering mathematics you did that course, right? So that part is not much transparent to me. So what I prefer is physical description of the phenomena. Okay. So that way, this sort of thing I can visualize. So that is the thing, but this is the operation which we can do. And we will show a particular problem in MATLAB also, that is there. So now what happens, actually this particular operation, so this is the operation we are talking about, say this operation or this operation. If we elaborate this, that means if we carry out the whole thing, how many components we will get from here? 9, right? And then again this is a state of stress matrix. We know that out of this 9, tau xy is equal to tau yx. So ultimately we require 6 only. So if we go on carrying out this operation, say here A is transformation matrix, so you see rotation and transformation, whatever they are used here as a reverse operation, it is called rotation. We know what is transformation matrix. If we put them, okay, in terms of some coefficient, okay, if we carry out this operation, how many terms we will get from there?
9.
Actually we will get from here, we will get 9 quantities, right?
Yes.
So ultimately there are 9 equations. From there we require only 6, because this sigma 1 2 and sigma 2 1, they are identical.
Yes.
So those 6 are taken here. We have computed these things. This is computed. These are the coefficients, say A11 to A33, like that. So this is what we will get. Actually there are 9, but somehow if we expand this, we will get 9, but for identical terms they are written as twice of that. This is clear? And then what we will do from here? Here we have 6 stress components in coordinate frame x prime, y prime, z prime.
Yes.
On the right hand side we have stress components, again 6. Sigma 1 1, then somewhere there is sigma 2 2, sigma 2 2, sigma 3 3. Okay, these are the state of stress matrix in coordinate frame, say xyz. It's clear? So what is the right hand side here? This is again another form of coefficient matrix and a vector. That vector is sigma 1 1 2 2 3 3, then 1 2 1 3 and 2 3 without prime. What does it mean? This is a single stage operation. That also we can do. So this stress transformation is basically those components. So from here we have collected terms A11, A12, etc. What are those terms basically? These are terms
Yes.
L1, L2, L3 like that. So that is what is shown here. This is clear?
Yes.
So these two operations we can do. One is using laws of stress transformation. This also we can do, matrix multiplication.
Yes.
We'll get the final result in a 3 by 3 matrix. Can also carry out this operation. So here we will get stress components as separate individual components. So we'll carry out both the operations using MATLAB. We'll see for a particular example. So this is the example say. Here this is the state of stress matrix and this is the transformation matrix. So this transformation matrix is shown here and you see here this say L1, M1, N1, right? What does it mean? What is the angle of rotation here? 45 degree. Clear? This is 0 means theta is 0. This is cos theta 90 degree, right?
Yes. 90.
This is also 90, and if this is 1, that means here angle is 0. Cos 0. So that means about this particular axis, this is our
E2 equal to E2 dash. The same.
this indicates this thing.
Yes.
These two are same, their direction is identical, so angle between them is 0, so this value is 1. So this is a visualization of that rotation matrix. But of course, this is a special case, and you know that this rotation in 3D is quite difficult to visualize in general. Okay. So as it is a simple case, we can visualize. And also this will happen. What does it mean? This means in such a case, along each row, along each column, if this is a particular transformation matrix, we can compute what is the transform of that. So between these two, this relation will hold. Understand that? And this will happen. What is the transformation of that? So this minus 1 by root 2 will go there, and this one will come here. Okay, this symmetric. If we carry out this operation, it will become identity matrix. You can check that also. So what is shown here is basically this operation. This operation, right? This is fine. This is transpose. This is the given transformation matrix, and after multiplication, this is what we'll get. Okay, now this part is fine. So this transformation matrix, this is the other way of carrying out the operation. This is for state of stress. A similar operation we can carry out for strain also. We'll discuss about strain afterwards. So this is transformation for our strain components. No, this is here. This is not exactly identical. Okay. This one and that one is not exactly identical. We'll see to it. So rotation in 2D, that again remains to be addressed. Okay, there is question mark, as well as the transformation into curvilinear coordinates In some cases, we will see such phenomena occurs in large deformation problem. Okay, those remains to be seen in further details. And then this is stress transformation as if a physical description of the stress transformation. Means so far whatever we have shown this mathematical form, there is no physical description of the transformation of the state of stress.
Yes.
And to understand that physically, what we have done here is that, say we have a given direction x, y, z, the state of stress matrix is given. This is given in x, y, z coordinate frame. Is clear?
Yes.
And now we have another coordinate axis, which is also a rectangular coordinate frame, Cartesian frame, right? This. Say let us take that n, then there is n prime and double prime. Yeah. So what is done here? Along n direction, we can construct a plane perpendicular to this n,
Yes.
and we can find out the stress component. Okay, that means normal stress and the two shear stress along the direction n prime and n double prime. That you know. That means what we are doing from sigma n and this Tn, we can find out tau n, or the total stress tensor here, tau n as it.
Yes.
And that tau n has again component along n prime and n double prime.
Yes.
So this we can find out. We'll get these three components, right? Sigma n, tau n prime, tau n double prime. Clear? In this equation, what is used is this component Tx, Ty, Tz, which we know from Cauchy's equation. What is Tx, Ty, Tz is known. Okay. So if we substitute them, we'll get some expression of this sigma n, tau n prime, n double prime. The same thing we can do for direction n prime.
Yes.
Here also we'll take outer normal along that, we'll construct a plane perpendicular to that. We'll get a sigma n prime, there would be a repetition on this shear stress and the other thing also. And ultimately what we'll get from there is this transformation equation. Is clear?
Yes.
So that we can check physically. As well as this might come from this operation.
Yes.
So if we check this one, we are sure that this is the thing, this is the mathematical description is the correct description of the physical phenomena, right? So this is for your practice thing, you might do it, but what we will do here, we'll see the problem solution. There was a particular problem, right? We have a problem here, not this one. This one was the problem, right? We'll carry out this problem in MATLAB. Okay, let us. So what we have to do in MATLAB? First we have to input this particular state of stress matrix and this transformation matrix. So this is the new part which we have incorporated in our stress analysis program. So this is version 5. Previously we were in version 4, right, where we created the output file, we stored our results in that output file. Now this is the next addition, the module stress transformation, this is added here. Okay, that part is our existing one, we have already used it. Now you see here, this was our previous state of stress matrix, and now what we have done, this particular one is taken from this problem 21013 minus 2, whatever was there, this is what was given here. So that is there. Now next part, this direction cosine, we are not carrying out that operation, let us not focus on that. There is a more circle part also, it will carry out that thing. This is not our interest to find out that sigma n, tau n, etc. whatever is there, it will carry out something here. But our interest is to transform the state of stress. Let us move further. Okay, if printf, then principal stresses. Okay, so this is where our transformation of stresses there, we are starting that part. So in the output file, you understand this much. If we run this program, what we'll do? It will create this line first. Right? This is written in our output file. Fprintf in fd1, we opened this file associated with fd1. We are writing this particular portion of text. This is right. That you know, we can write. We could have write it directly, but just to show you that something, some string, we can write in this format. S, and there are space of 20. There might be something more than 20, whatever. And this is the explicit way of writing the thing. What is this backslash n here? So it will write transformation of stresses in a line, then it will go into the next line. Okay. This will write. Afterwards also there is a new line character. It will go in the next line. What is our transformation matrix? There are two forms. One is we can take this input also. Okay, but that will take some time. We have to do it manually from the terminal, right? So that module is there, but we are not using it. So this is the thing, that input transformation matrix. L1, M1, N1, L2, M2, N2, etc., etc. Okay. And then we are forming this Q. So these are the components, and this is what we are doing now. Q11 is L1, L2, L3. You understand this part. So we are not using this module, although it is there.
Yes.
Rather, Q is given corresponding to that particular problem. You see, this is our Q. First row 1 by square root of 2, 0, and then 1 by square root of 2. Fine? 1 by root 2, 0, 1 by root 2. Then it is 0, 1, 0. See? Next 0, 1, 0. And this is the third row. We understand. But then we are writing this transformation matrix in our output file. Right? That means in result.txt or result.dat, whatever it is. Now we are forming transpose of Q. Why it is necessary? Because Firstly, we can check this thing. This is not checked here. That module is not there. But what we'll do there, we'll see this operation. This is what we'll carry out
Yes, sir.
through matrix multiplication. That means we'll carry out this operation. Okay. And then we'll carry out this operation also. We'll compute it in both the ways. So, this is what we'll carry out first, and then we'll carry out by the second way. Let us go there. So this is transpose of Q is Qt, and say S means this is the transposed stress matrix. Capital S was our state of stress matrix. We find it earlier. Is it not the operation? Transpose of transformation matrix into the state of stress matrix into transformation matrix. Clear? So we'll get this transpose of the stress matrix. What we are doing with this is what we are writing here, right? In our output file, I have written this thing. Okay. Next what? This is called through a transformation subroutine, a module, another module, stress transform. It is there. What is the input there? The state of stress matrix S and this transformation matrix Q. What is the output from this? This is the output, transform state. And what is done here? This is the explicit thing. So it is S transform. So after this function input, it is there. This is the function. Clear? The output from the function, this is the transformed stress matrix. Okay. What we are getting first from this Q, we are getting this L1, M1, M1, L2, M2, N2. This we know. Okay. And then you recall, for a direct transformation, okay, we require these quantities, right? There was a transformation matrix, 6 stress components related with the other 6 stress components. So that 6 by 6 matrix, okay, it is formed here.
Yes.
So to facilitate the operation, it starts from 1 1, it goes up to 1 6, okay, up to 1 6, and that way it starts from 6 1, it goes up to 6 6. Some part is there,
Yes.
but all the components of this 6 by 6 transformation matrix is there. So this is the transformation operation, and this is the state of stress matrix. It is now stored in a vector T. Right? So what are these basically? Sigma 1 1, sigma 2 2, sigma 3 3, and sigma 1 2 1, 2 3, and 1 3. Accordingly, these are the terms. It was like that in our lesson. Means here it was like that. Okay. This part is for sigma 1 1, 2 2 3 3, and then it was 1 2 2 3 3 1.
Yes.
Accordingly, it is formed. You can check. So you can check that these are L1 square. So here also that particular term would be L1 square. Okay, accordingly this is formed. Clear? So now what if this is done? If this is done, what is this T? So this T contains the transformed stresses, right? And from there, these are now this 6, there are 6 such components here,
Yes, sir.
and we know that the first one is our S11. This is now transformed stress, S transformed 11, where it will go. This 2-1 will go in 2-2, right? And 3-1 it will go in 3-3. And what we are getting, the fourth term, 4-1, this is our 1-2, as well as this is our 2-1. Clear? And the same thing for 2-3. 2-3 we are getting 5-1 and 3-2 is the same thing. So that way, from this 6 stress components, we are again forming our output stress matrix. So this output is the transformed stress matrix. Clear? This is the module for stress transformation. Clear? So this is what we are doing here. So again, we will get the same thing. From here also we will get the same thing, and this is what we are writing once again. That's clear. So let us run this program. This we are not changing anything, so this is 0, another 0. Okay, something has come. This is the Morse circle. Now the shape of the Morse circle has changed, right? Stand. And our result, it will go into in this folder, right? Here, this is the output file. Let us see. Now you see, in our previous program, existing program was like this. This coefficient, load and other coefficient, up to this much is computed. Now, this is the line, demarcating line. Now, transformation of stresses, transformation matrix, everything is, we are starting from here. Today's module, it starts from here, demarcating line, this new line character. Then first we are writing this Q transformation matrix. Then the transformed one, this is written 2 times. So here, this is the result. These 2 results are identical. One is direct matrix multiplication, and this is in the second method. That means from the 6 component we have again reformed the transformed state of stress matrix. See whether this result is identical with this one. This is the result, right?
Yes, sir.
Half, this is 3, this is again half.
So 1.5.
Ah,
3 by
that is 3 by 2. Okay, 1.5 then 3, 1. Okay, that's fine. So this is the thing. It is how it is done using MATLAB. But in your case, for the purpose of your examination, you have to carry out this thing. Although this is not a very difficult one,
Yes.
right? But whatever. So this is the thing up to our transformation of stresses, up to this stress transformation. And next part we will discuss about the other topics, true stress or the stress function, not right after this, because we require some more discussion on the strain and some material properties. Okay, these things we'll discuss first, then we'll go into this discussion on true stress, or there is a related component which is true strain. Both will come together. As well, this discussion on stress function will require some idea of stress strain relation, material properties, etc. So next we'll start from here. We'll focusing on strain, the strain displacement function, and gradually we'll progress next. So let us stop here today.